We are fresh off the roundup meet and greet. My voice has come back somewhat. I'm about 90%. 90%. All right. But what's going on, B? What is going on, LBHT crew? Listen. You guys, um, it was a great weekend.
It
All
was.
right. It was a great weekend. We saw a lot of you guys there. The ones that couldn't make it, it's all right. You miss out. You miss out on a great time, but it's looking like we'll be back next year. All right. Listen. There might be some other things going on during the season. So if you missed out on that, we'll have some more things in store for you. But look, man, let me get a shout out to everybody. Look, Coach was there. Said liked and ready. Look, everybody from the roundup was there. Everybody was there. All right, Coach was there. He was the first in here. All right, he beating Bazel to it. You know why Bazel's not first today? Because Bazel is still having a little hangover. Okay, I'm still worn out. I'm still tired from that weekend, man. That was a great weekend, and it seemed like it went on the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Right. D Weezy was there. What's going on, D Weezy? Says, what up, what up? D Weezy partied until like 2:00 and then drove home all the way to North Carolina. Salute to you. That's a trooper right there. Our guy, Mr. J's in the house. What's going on, Mr. J? Appreciate you. Says, let's go. We got a guy, Buck from Arizona Armchair Sports. Says, hey, crew. Hey, Buck. What's up with you? Got a guy, Jeremy, in the house. Says, hey, guys. What's up, Jeremy? Salute to you. Jared Green in the house. Salute. All right. Raven Ron in the house. Is what up, LBHT? Nah, I don't want Clowny. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. All right. We're going to talk about that. Don't worry. We'll talk about that in a second. We'll talk about that. Kevin Spencer in the house says, yes, sir. Yes. What's going on, Kevin? Our guy, Living Legend in the house says, lunch break, hot take. What's going on? Thanks for coming through. Xavier Smith in the house. Salute. Says, fellas, what's up? What's up, Xavier? Yolanda B. What's going on? Says, good evening, LBHT and chat. Great time at the meet and greet. Yes, Yolanda was there. Yes, our guy Bazel, speaking of, says, Bazel, cooking wife chicken and shrimp Alfredo. I'm always here. I know that, man. I know that. But you weren't first. First. He hates not being first. Our guy, Just Aloe, was at the meet and greet. What's going on? Says, what up, LBHT crew? Hope all is well. I had a great time at the meet and greet. I am taller than all of you. I don't know if you're taller than Justin P. That man's like 6'7".
Right.
Justin P was there. Just Aloe, you left before I gave you a shout out. We all went on stage and we did a little Q&A session, a little introductory to the people that are new to our stuff, because we had a lot of people there. There's a lot of people that watch the shows, and there are a lot of people that were seeing us for the first time. So we had did a little intro, but we talked about how great it was putting names to faces in the chat, and I mentioned you and how you taught us about round Pop-Tarts, all right, and almond smash, all right. But you told me ahead of time when I got there that you weren't going to stay long because it was getting past your bedtime. So you did give me fair warning, okay? But it was great seeing you in person. Yes. Marco G, what's going on? Says, what's good, fellas? I live in North Cali. Otherwise, I would have been there maybe next year. Yes, you could have flown with Ferris.
Yeah, that ain't no excuse, Marco.
Definitely.
Hopefully see you next year, man.
Yes, we appreciate it. Rico in the house. What's good, Rico? Salute to you. Yes. Ravensville in the house. Says, what's up, fellas? Danity was there. Oh, Danity showed up. What's going on? Says, welcome, everyone. Hit the like button and subscribe, kings and queens. Yes. Salute. Yes. I was so happy to see Danity there. All right.
Danity still didn't send me the pictures she took.
Oh, yeah. You got to send them pictures. Anybody that was at the meet and greet,
can DM
took pictures.
Danity.
DM, email, however, send them to us. All right. MDT Sports says, what's up, guys? LBHT, great day. I feel like Alabama Brawl, Ben Roethlisberger, Dana White, and Jason Whitlock. That's what we could talk about in the overtime show. We can talk about the Alabama Brawl as well. We have another topic too that's interesting, but yes, we'll get to that in the overtime show. Let's see. Who else do we have in here? Who else? Did I get everybody? I got everybody for now. Okay. And shout out to our Streamlabs bot and our Stream Elements bot. Okay. Putting in that work. Okay. Look, listen, it's not no more night bots. No more night bots. But listen, we had our July winner for our points, which was Hendo, I believe.
Yes.
Hendo got his prize. Okay. That's for getting the most points. We didn't do the giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway later, right? We're going to be doing a drawing.
Yeah, tonight.
So just for the people that are new here, because the NFL season is starting and you guys like to trickle back in. And some of you guys didn't even know there's a meet and greet going on. This is how some of you check out in the off season. I get it. I got you. Look, some people hit us up like, yo, I was not informed about this. Okay. And we were like, we've been talking about it for
months. You were.
But now you know it's all good. We will advertise. I shouldn't say advertise. We will promote it. We will start pre-sale a little bit earlier on tickets, right? So while the bulk of our audience is still here for football, we will let you know when it's going down. We'll give you an idea of the venue, but we won't lock that in until closer to the time. But we'll give you an idea of the area and everything, and you can get your tickets early. All right. It will be bigger next year. You definitely going to want to get your tickets early. All right. This one, we planned on making it small. It was fairly small, right? Relatively speaking, but a lot more people showed up than we had expected. And a lot of them showed up at the last second. So great time, great stories. The after party was dope as well. All right. And getting to hang out with Coach, you know, for the weekend. Ferris came through for the weekend, hung out with us. And
Chris came down for the night as well from New York.
Yes. Yeah. So shout out to all you guys, man. And shout out to our ladies for helping us put this together, because they really made it pop. They really made it pop. It wouldn't have gone as well if they didn't get involved. So thank you. Salute to Marco G for the donation. Says, since I'm frugal like EDC and Bishadi, I'm shipping myself ground via at FedEx or DHL next year to the meet and greet. I'm still buying tickets though. Don't want Coach and B to give me the boot. Hey, I appreciate that.
Thank you, Marco.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. And Hendo put together a little video. Mr. Galloway has a video out there floating around as well.
Yes.
So you know, you follow these guys on IG, Twitter, and all that. You'll get to see pieces of the meet and greet. All right. All right. So 8 minutes in. Look, we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So wherever you're watching this, hit that like button. All right. Give us a follow, all that good stuff. All right. If you are listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, all right, this is the next day around lunchtime. So we hope you are enjoying your lunch. Okay, we got some preseason to talk about. Our first preseason games are coming up on Saturday. Are both our teams playing Saturday? Yes, Saturday.
I know Carolina is.
I believe the Ravens are too. So we got the Ravens versus the Eagles. We got the Panthers versus the Jets, who are on Hard Knocks. Okay, so you'll get to see them twice. Right. We'll be discussing that, some other training camp notes. All right. So we got to get into. So let's get into it. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact, and B has a Black History fact for you.
Yeah, this one's going to be super fast for a few reasons. But the main one being that it's connected to a story that we're going to be doing later on in the show. I shouldn't say connected. It's on theme with a story that we're going to be doing later on. This one's about a man named Phil Williams, who was a professional boxer from about 2006 to about 2020 is when he retired. He was 16, 10, and 3, 16 wins, 14 knockouts. You know, he fought at cruiserweight. I don't, no shade, but an unremarkable career. But he's back home in Minnesota where he was from, and he's a barber now. But back in 2007, he was on top of the world because he fought a man named Brandon Burke. And this happened.
Brandon Burke, 0 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, and a heck of a looking ring attire, and we're underway.
Here we go.
Oh, right out of the gate!
The fastest knockout I've ever seen in my life. He's not going to make it.
I was hoping the video would be bigger, but that is the fastest knockout in boxing history. 10 seconds, 1 punch, and it was only 10 seconds because the ref had to count. He knocked him out. He knocked him out at 2:59 of round 1.
Wow!
Shout out to Phil Williams, who has the fastest knockout in boxing history back in 2007.
That was faster than Jimmy Thunder's knockout over that one guy. Jimmy Thunder, who was another unspectacular boxer. Shout out to Yolanda. I'm gonna read that in 1 second, Yolanda. Jimmy Thunder, but he lived up to the name, boy. He was all muscle and strength, boy. You talk about one hitter quitter, Jimmy Thunder. I'll never forget this. He walked. That's what happened. That's why it was slower than this one. He walked out. He didn't run out. Right? He walked out. The other guy thought he was pumping himself up. He thought he was gonna go and do something. You okay? You setting your alarm there? Oh, okay.
That's my clock out of work alarm, but I don't need that on Wednesdays.
Oh, there you go. There you go. All right. But the guy he was fighting, he was pumping himself up like, yeah, let's go. And he tried to run up on Jimmy, and Jimmy I think he hit him like a 1-2, and the dude fell over like this. And then they had to wake him up. He thought he was still fighting. He was still trying to punch and everything. Like, nah, man, it's over. You're done. Yeah. But this guy did it faster than Jimmy Thunder. All right, so salute to you. And salute to Yolanda B for the $25 donation, and salute to you for showing up to the event. Says thanks to the gentleman for organizing the meetup. It was a wonderful time. Yes, thank you for coming through. I gotta reiterate, man, it was a great time. It was a great time. It was almost perfect. The only thing that we had to complain about was the sound system. That was out of our hands, but we made the most of it. But other than that,
and great. I do want to say, Yolanda, that I have also lived up to my end of our bargain, and our bargain is now finished.
What bargain is that?
Yolanda has been somewhat upset with the way that I have been talking about a particular member of the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know why she singled me out, but talking about Odafe Oweh.
We haven't really said anything about Oweh on here.
And asked me to call out anybody who's saying anything negative about Odafe. I've done that now on 2 shows, so our bargain is complete.
Hey, shout out to our people watching on Facebook as well. Our guy OTR Brandon, okay, who DJ'd our event and put together a great music selection, which I knew he would, man. Like anytime he hosts anything, he puts together a little music selection. It's always on point. So thank you, OTR Brandon for coming through and hooking us up. Shout out to Job Bigby over there on Facebook as well, hitting that like. All right. We don't talk from the very beginning. I think you guys think we're harsher on players than we really are, right? Because two in particular, Oweh and Proche, right? Yeah. Now, okay, B gets a little harsh with his words sometimes. He calls people trash. People don't like that word, trash.
But again, I always reiterate that I'm not talking about them as people. So we're talking about them on the field, on the court, on the pitch, whatever it is.
But as I explained to you, the word trash is a strong word. I understand
it's not the strongest word. We could use much stronger ones.
Yeah, but that's why people think we're harder than them than we actually are, right? But we're not, right? Yeah. We don't have a problem with Proche. I still like Proche, right? Listen, as long as Proche is on the team, I'm gonna root for him, right? I'm gonna root for him. But we call things like we see them. But we were never as hard on Proche as you guys made it out to be. You guys are way harder on Proche than we are, right? Like the Proche jokes that you hear now don't come from us.
Right.
They don't come from us. The Oweh jokes don't really come from us. The only thing we said was we didn't like the pick at the time because he's a raw player and we needed somebody more polished, and we just didn't think he's going to be as good as everybody believed just because he ran a fast 40 time. That was all we were saying. But man, people are down hard on Oweh. We never went hard at Oweh like You guys did.
Listen, he had a terrible second year. He did. But in his rookie season, he showed a lot of promise.
Yeah.
What we always say about defense, defense doesn't win you championships in the NFL now. You're not going to be able to stop these offenses, as evidenced by the number 2 defense in the league, the Patriots a couple years ago giving up 40 in the playoffs, the number 1 defensive in the league, Buffalo giving up or letting the Chiefs get into field goal range in 13 seconds. Yep. You can't stop these offenses, right? And you need opportunistic defenses. You need defenses that'll get timely stops, that'll make timely plays for you. And that's what Oweh was doing in his rookie year. He was making big plays in big moments several times. And he just regressed in year 2. And as long as he looks at his whole offseason plan from last year and tosses it out and does something different, he should be fine. You're muted.
My bad. Yeah, no, I was just agreeing with you. Yeah. We're not completely throwing him away, but no, man, like we weren't that high on him to begin with. But we'll see. He is young, and that's the thing. When you draft somebody that's raw, you gotta give him time to develop. Yeah, that's all it is. Shout out to Anonymous for the donation. It says y'all talking about that guy named Jason. I mean Oweh. See, there it goes.
See, that's disrespectful because his name is Odafe. Don't be just calling people stuff that's not their name. Rude.
That's disrespect. I'll tell you who
I got you with the loyalty points though.
I'll tell you who we are high on. We're always high on this person. Our guy Christian. All right.
What's up, Christian?
Over on Facebook, it says, "Good morning from the Philippines. No idea about football, but I'm gonna listen anyway." Salute to you, Christian. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Christian is a boxing fan. He always comes through on Ring Kings podcast and discusses boxing over there, and he follows us on this channel, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And shout out to Yolanda B for another donation. Says, "This is for you, Brodny. Thank you for being true to your word. # Oweh." There you go. Salute to Yolanda, man.
Thank you, Yolanda. Yolanda has charged out to a commanding lead early in the month in the loyalty points. So,
yes. Go over the loyalty points. There's 54 people in here. Shout out to you guys. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. If you're really new or you just coming back, right, from a little hibernation, little sports hibernation, we are doing a thing called loyalty points now. Okay, it resets every month. If you've been on Coach's channel, you know about this, and we kind of stole it from him. So
yes.
Go ahead and break it down, B. How did the loyalty points work on our channel?
Well, I'll say there's no kind of about it. We straight up stole it, told them we were going to steal it, took it anyway. What we are doing is just, we're giving points to people for essentially interacting with the channel, right? If you're watching the live streams, if you're active in the chat, if you donate, if you sign up for our newsletter on LBHTShow.com, if you submit questions for the submitted questions portion of the show, if you submit a trivia question, if you submit a Black History fact, basically anything you do to interact with the show will get you loyalty points. And then at the end of the month, whoever has the most loyalty points gets a prize. So far, we've been letting people choose their prize. Like this past month, we said Hendo from the Rogue Pod won, and he got God of War Ragnarok. And then we also do a random drawing for an Amazon gift card for anybody who gets over 1,000 points during the month. Now, if you want to knock that out in one go, and you haven't yet, 1,000 points, you'll get that just by going to LBHTShow.com and signing up for the newsletter. You'll also get points, like I said, subscribing or joining the Patreon, subscribing to the channel if you're not already. So like I said, anything at all that kind of interacts with the channel, commenting on uploaded videos will get you points. Any way that you interact with us, we give points back to you.
Yeah. And Coach is right. It was a great idea. You're right. So we had to take it. Now, if anybody steals it from us, we're going to complain.
That's a dirty pool right there. That's bush league.
That's bush league.
You take it from us. That's not cool.
Look at fans. See, this is
get some points for one of the raffles there today. You got
You got a
thing that you won in
prize.
the raffle.
Daddy,
Harris.
yeah. And shout out to Ferris. Ferris donated $100. Salute to you, Ferris. Thank you. Look,
Thank you.
seriously, thank you, Ferris, because Ferris flew out here from the Bay Area. All right, spent the whole weekend, and flew back and had to go through Atlanta. Same thing as Coach. They had the worst stories. Anybody that travels knows Atlanta is a place you don't want to have a layover at. And but they both they soldiered through it and they made it back home safely. So salute to you and thank you for the donation. Seriously, although I know this is because you're real competitive and you like to win. Okay. Ferris has a lot of points, but we are at the beginning of the month. All right. So do not be discouraged by Ferris dropping a hundo. Okay. Don't be discouraged by that. And look, you don't have to compete with Ferris. You just need to get to 1,000 points and you'll be eligible for a prize. Okay.
I might have to figure out a way to rework some of these points because we can't have Ferris buying gifts every month here. All right. So we're gonna adjust some of these values.
Well, listen. I can tell you this: the gifts aren't $100 in value. Okay. I think that's kind of the flaw in his strategy there, but we do appreciate the donation.
Thank you, Ferris. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
What's up, Dre?
Dre's in the house, Mr. Galloway. What's going on? Look, subscribe to him. Okay.
Yes.
If you're a hip hop fan, definitely subscribe to his channel. Also, he was there at the meet and greet. Go follow him on IG. He has pictures and some videos out on the meet and greet as well. All right.
Ferris said, read the message.
Did I read it? I didn't. I was talking trash about him. I'm sorry, Ferris. I'll bring it back up. Said, that is a nice lead you have there. Would be ashamed to see it go.
Ferris is a great guy, but a terrible person.
How about we start the show? We're 20 minutes in.
Yeah, we should do that because it's still hashtag no 2 hours.
Yes, it's hashtag no 2 hours.
Regardless.
All right, we got 2 games coming up. Ravens versus Eagles is the first one we're going to discuss. What do we want to see from this game? We've been hearing some news from training camp. Okay, the offense is still a work in progress. Lamar threw 4 interceptions the other day. Oh boy, oh no, the sky's falling. What are you gonna do when you throw interceptions in practice, B? It's the end of the world, right? But we're not going to see him in this game. But listen, it's a brand new offensive
Probably
system.
because he lost his job throwing 4 interceptions in practice.
Yeah. Okay, for those who don't know about that, yes, we talked about it on Monday's show on the Ravens Roundup. It was a controlled situation there, right? It was just a 3rd and long practice, 3rd and long plays. Okay, and I'm assuming that they had to throw to get the first down. So the defense knew exactly what they were going to do, and the Ravens offense had to make do with it. And when you have a good defense and they know what you're going to do, you get turnovers, right?
And you have an all-pro corner and the highest paid safety in the league, and another safety who was drafted in the top 15. They should be making plays. Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, you'd like to see the offense hold on to the ball, right, and not turn it over. What's up, Chef?
What's up, Chef?
Obviously, you don't want to see them because it was 9 total picks, 4 from Lamar and then 5 from the other quarterbacks. So obviously, you don't want to see that. But particularly with Lamar, like you have seen Lamar play in real life games, and he's one of the best players, not just quarterbacks, but one of the best players in the league. What do you care? Why are you worried about it?
My thing is this: if the scenario is 3rd and 16, and you have to pick up the first down, that means there's no check downs, right? There's no short passes, so there's only a small space that you're looking to throw the ball, right? And if the defense knows that, then the defense should be winning that, right?
Yeah, they should.
Yeah, and Marlon Humphrey said it. He's just like, we were scripted to win, and we did what we're supposed to do. He felt very good about that, right? So that tells me that They know that you know what they need to do, and that's good for that defense. We want that defense because that defense is going to be in those situations against some high-powered offenses, and we got to be able to hold up because we don't want another situation like last year against Miami, right?
Mm-hmm.
We don't want a situation where it's a blowout and all we have to do is keep them out the end zone. Like, oh, all they're doing is just getting in the end zone. Oh, there's another one to Tyreek Hill. Oh, there's another one. Tyreek Hill's already throwing a peace sign. He doesn't even have the ball in his hands yet. We don't want that scenario. So I would feel good too. All right. Even if it is Lamar throwing the interceptions, like that's not going to reflect what our offense is going to look like once we get out on the field.
No, and you know my favorite thing about it too is it's a big story because they threw 9 interceptions. Lamar threw 4. If you know the defense had knocked down those 9 passes and they didn't complete them and didn't get the first down, you wouldn't have heard a word about it.
Right.
You know, like I said, it's 3rd and long. Either you complete it for a first down or it's a turnover anyway.
Right.
Whether you list it as a turnover in the stats or not. But if it was just, hey, we knocked it down and now we're getting the ball on a punt, you wouldn't have heard anything.
Yeah.
But you know, whatever.
Yeah. Now, what do we want to see from the game?
Dallas Cowboys fans were particularly happy with the Lamar news since their boy who played 12 games and led the league in interceptions, gets talked about a bit.
Hey, shout out to Ashley Baker, man, because she was trolling a little bit on Twitter, and some people didn't get it, right? Like she was being sarcastic, but some people didn't get it. Like she was kind of mocking it a little bit, but that comes from because she's been on this whole rant like, hey, everybody is going at Dak, for not for throwing an interception in practice. It's not a big deal, but you make a big deal when it's the Cowboys, which is true. Yeah. I thought it was funny, but some people were there. They thought that she was being serious. She wasn't being serious. Okay, Ravens Eagles. Jeremy wants to see Jalen Carter. Yeah, he'll play a couple snaps, I think. For the Eagles, I think he's going to be a beast. I think he's going to be an absolute beast.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
For the Ravens side, I don't think there's going to be any starters playing, at least not on the offensive side, right?
I would expect Zay Flowers to start or to play.
Okay, yeah.
And, I mean, if we're calling him a starter, I think he's going to start as the 3rd receiver. So I would call him a starter.
Okay,
yeah. I Jeremy saying he wants to see Odell. I would not expect to see Odell much at all in the preseason.
If anything, maybe the last game you might see a couple snaps, but nothing major.
Or you mean the second game? That's
the dress rehearsal.
Typically won't play that 3rd game at all because they only have the 3 now.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't even be certain that he plays in that game. Right. I think that Odell knows what he's doing. He knows how to get himself ready for the season, and I don't think they really want to take any unnecessary risks with him.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see Bateman in their next game. I don't really expect him to be playing this week, having just been activated off the PUP list. But it's always good to get a look at your depth too, and see how some of the younger players and the backups are kind of shaping up.
Yeah. Ravenville, you took the words out of my mouth. He says, what about the O-line? Yes, I think that's what I want to see. In particular, the left guard position. Apparently, everybody needs to be out there, okay? Because we don't have who's our starter? We are starting our first preseason game, so that means we got 3 more weeks, of camp and seeing what we have there. And the one thing that I said I wanted to see coming out of training camp was early on somebody stepping up and establishing themselves as a starter at that position. And it hasn't happened. Not only has it not happened, we have another person trying out a left guard.
Another challenger entering the arena. And I hope, I hope and pray this guy plays a good bit on Saturday. Hard R. Ricard is trying out at that left guard spot. And I would just love to see it.
Well, okay, wait. Is he actually starting out at left or trying out a left guard? They said O-line.
Well, yeah. I mean, I assumed it was left guard because the other 4 spots are they're pretty set.
Right.
I cannot imagine him challenging Morgan Moses for the right tackle spot. I think they're going to tuck him in there between Ronnie and Linderbaum and have the smallest interior line in the history of football. And I would particularly love to see him guard or try to block Jalen Carter. I would love to see it.
Listen,
Harbaugh, if you're listening, because I know you are an unserious person and you do not care at all about the team that you run out there, please put Pat Ricard in at left guard and have him just try. Just see what he can do against Jalen Carter.
Do you know what this tells me? All jokes aside, and there's a lot of jokes we can make about Hard R Ricard. Okay, Pat Ricard. The thing that what this tells me is that they don't have a role for Pat Ricard.
Yeah.
Like they don't, because if you have a role for him, okay, maybe one practice just as a joke, okay, yeah, we're going to line you up a player or two, just as ha, whatever, we're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're actually trying him out at another position, you don't have a role. So get rid of him. Right? We don't have to go through all this. Yes, just Allo, cut him. Say, hey, man, thanks for your services, but turns out in this new offense, we don't need you.
Turns out we actually didn't need you in the old one either, but now it's time to go.
Yeah, because like you pointed out, B, we have an old lineman that we just paid that's supposed to be able to float around, if necessary, all over the line.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's his name? Cologne. Is it?
Oh,
Macari. I mean, Patrick Macari.
Macari.
Yeah, Patrick Macari. So we don't need all this, right? We don't need an undersized guy trying to play lineman in case of an emergency. The emergency guy is supposed to be Macari. Yeah, and if he can't do it, the super emergency guy is whoever we pick up off the street. Yeah. Not Pat Ricard. If Pat Ricard is in there, we're in trouble.
Not one day. Look, and maybe this is why I'm not a head coach in the NFL, but not once would I let my fullback, who's not even that great at blocking in that role, line up and try out for the O-line in an actual practice. I would have been on the phone with Dallas and given them whatever they wanted for Zach Martin.
Yeah. B, we gotta talk to our stream bot guy. He's still posting the link for the Eventbrite. Yeah.
Which is that Stream Labs?
Stream Elements. Yeah. Do not click on that link. Well, you click on it
if you want.
Yeah, the event's over. Yeah. It's too late, guys.
I mean, you're not going to be able to buy a ticket even if that was your intent. So it's okay.
And these aren't for the tickets for next year. Okay, they haven't come out yet, but there will be an event next year, ladies and gentlemen. I can safely say that now. We've already started talking about it. So if you missed out this year, that's okay. All right. That's okay. I think some of you guys didn't think we were serious. I think some of you guys thought there's a case of the Harbaughs going on over here. All right. That's not the case. We were serious about this. And we had a really good time. So next year, we're going to give you guys a early heads up. And when those tickets go on sale, you want to get them. All right. So, yes, Ron says Swift Army Knife Ricard. Look, man, we don't need that. Can you play or not? All right. Donation link. No, we mean there's no donation. Yeah, the donation link is pinned to the comments, Buck. All right. In fact, let me just take this time because there's 65 people in here. All right. If you're looking for the super chat, there's two ways you do super chat. One right below B, $ LBHT Show. That is the Cash App. Also, the pin link that's in the chat box. That'll take you to our Stream Elements page. Both ways, leave your donation, leave your comment, and you get the nice animation right here. Okay, Microphone Man will raise his fist in salute to you. Okay. No, people don't like Pat because there's no role for him.
Pat really don't like some people, so he brings it on himself.
Yeah. Okay. Other things that I want to see in this game. I want to see the cornerbacks play. Okay. Mm-hmm. As far as I'm concerned, we have one set starter. I know Rocketson is kind of penciled in there, but man, I gotta see him in action. All right. Definitely got to see Pepe Williams and Jalen Armour Davis. All right. Got to see Caillou Blue Kelly. Okay. I want to see Stevens out there. Okay. He's playing safety or whatever. But, I need to see these young guys out there and looking solid. Preseason isn't everything, right? Like, I'm not going to overreact, but I got to see you out there at least looking like you know what you're doing. Okay. If rather look good than not good, right? Isn't that what I always say? In the off season, I don't care if it's mini camp. I'd rather you look good than not good. You can sit there and say, "Oh, it's just mini camp. Oh, it's just practice. It's just preseason." That's true, but I don't want to see you looking bad. All right. And shout out to Buck. He says, "Wait, B isn't an NFL head coach. News to me. It's news to you, B. Yeah, there you go. Thank you for the donation, Buck. Appreciate you." Okay. Is there anything else that we want to see out of this team? The running back. Somebody mentioned Easton.
Keaton.
Yes. Yeah. Keaton. From where did he play? ECU? Yeah. I watched one of his games during the college season. He looked really good.
Yeah, no, he did look really good playing against college players, and he's about 85 pounds, and he ain't gonna make it.
We'll see.
Sorry.
We'll see. I hope he plays well, but I will be watching him. That's somebody I'm excited to watch. And also some of these wide receivers that are trying out for the team, they're most likely not going to make it. But you guys know, my guy Dante Demas. I want to see him in action. I want to see anybody. I just want to see anybody that might surprise. Right? There's always somebody. Maybe not on every team, but there's always somebody in preseason on some team that just ends up being better than everybody realized. I'm hoping that somebody on this team becomes that for once. All right. So I'm putting my money on Dante Demas, B.
That is a losing bet, my friend, but that's okay.
Well, I mean, it's small money.
Those kind of bets.
It's penny bet.
Those kind of bets.
Yeah.
Kiara's Garrett. But more news in Baltimore. They did just give a 3-year extension to Broderick Washington.
Yes.
3 years, I believe it was a little over $17 million. Well deserved. And a great signing from EDC. Getting him locked up before he actually hit free agency. They only had one defensive lineman under contract for next year, and that was Travis Jones because he's still on his rookie deal. So they got to look at getting Justin Madubuike done as well. Although you probably do want to wait a bit and see how he shows up this season. He's been a little bit up and down, a little inconsistent. I think he's got the talent, and I think he will put it together. But it's probably best to kind of wait that out a little bit and see what kind of year he's having before you try to put a number on him. But really, really love the Broderick Washington signing.
Yeah, me too. And Coach on his call-in show today posted that question: who would have a bigger year, Broderick Washington or Justin Madubuike? I think most people went with Madubuike. I feel like the team has more faith in Broderick Washington.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they would have to right now. Yeah.
But that's gonna be interesting. That's an interesting one right there to see. And Madubuike is playing for a contract, so I expect him to be hungry.
Yeah. The real question is who's gonna have a better year, Owe, Ojabo, or Clowney.
Right.
Because
yes.
Clowney did come to visit, and he has not left the area. And per Jacina Anderson, and I saw you put it in the chat there, Just Al, thank you very much. Per Jacina Anderson, he has received an offer from Baltimore because Baltimore looked around and they looked around the room and they said, hey, he's the last guy left, so let's get something done. So apparently Clowney is going to be a Raven. That's the way it's looking. How do you feel about that?
Well, she said that he's taking his time to think about the offer. I feel like can we not ever just make a strong offer? Right? Like,
well, he's taking his time because I'm sure he don't want to go to training camp. Like, for what?
Well, yeah, I guess.
And if he signs now, they're gonna expect him to show up, and then if he shows up, you're gonna have to practice. And all right, who wants all that? Like, there aren't any other offers coming.
He's like, man, are you sure? Right, but still, he's just like, man, do I want this or should I just stay home? Like, is it worth it? Right? Like, pay him enough to show up to camp now.
I mean,
Okay.
I was going to go to Six Flags this weekend. I'll think about it.
No, I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it. Clowney, do you consider Clowney a bust?
No.
I don't. He didn't live up to expectations for sure, right? But I don't consider him a bust. He's always been a solid player. I think he's still a solid player. He gets hurt a lot.
Yeah. And I think, and Coach has said it, and Hendo has said it as well. I think he was miscast as an elite pass rusher, right?
Yes.
Because he wasn't that in college. But you saw the highlights of him. But he was an extremely disruptive defensive player until injuries really caught up with him. Kind of like Deion Jordan from Oregon years ago. Now he didn't pan out in the NFL as well, obviously, but he wasn't that elite pass rush guy in college either. He just had the measurables, he had the frame. People thought, hey, he could be that. But Clowney was always a guy who really had a major effect on the defense. The defense always had to account for him. He just wasn't putting up big sack numbers. But I wouldn't call him a bust at all. Like, obviously injuries took away from his career a great deal.
Yeah.
But I thought that when he was healthy and when he was playing, he was a very, very good player.
Yeah, I agree. Even last year when he played for the Browns, I thought he was solid. Mm-hmm. Right. Look, again, and he's never been like a high sack guy, so it's not like he's coming in here and going to get us 10 sacks like Justin Houston. Well, he almost did. He got 9.5. Thank you, Oweh, for the one time he decided to show up. But no, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. I mean, could we have done better? Yeah, we could have done better. But where we're at right now, I'm cool with that. And that gives you that insurance because worst case scenario, Oweh and Ojabo just aren't ready. We know Tyus Bowser can play, and we know Clowney can give you a certain level of play. So our edges will be solid at the very least. That's fine. And then, we have Matt Beacon, we got Broderick Washington. Our line looks pretty good. Looks pretty good overall. So I'm cool with that. Okay. Is there anybody we want to see on the Eagles? I know Jalen Carter got thrown out there. Who else do they have? I mean, they have everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's not really anything that I'm looking forward to in particular. I guess maybe Nakobe Dean, if he gets to play. He didn't play much at all last year.
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of redshirted him a little bit. Be interested to see how he looks back in the Georgia defense. Outside of that, maybe we want to see how their safeties are holding up, once they let go of Gardner Johnson. But screw Philly, man. I don't want to see them.
I think, listen, obviously they're the defending NFC champions. They're playing they have a team built for a Super Bowl. Obviously they're playing for Super Bowls. They don't put much stock into preseason, right? I think this is going to be another win for the Ravens, right? Because we care about the winning streak in the preseason. I think a team like the Eagles don't care at all.
Yeah.
Right. You want to talk about vanilla offense, you're going to get the most basic of basic offenses from them because all they're trying to do, they're going to run a couple plays and then sit their guys because they're preparing for the long haul. But we still have some questions that we need answered. I don't think I don't think we're going to see much of our starters, but there's some positions out there that we need to know about. And the main one is left guard, right? And right tackle, but whatever. All right. Over to the other team. Carolina Panthers.
Yes,
I'm sorry, other game. The Carolina Panthers versus the Jets. Jets. Did you guys watch the first episode of Hard Knocks? Because we didn't. But we heard that Aaron Rodgers was everything that we said he was going to be on the show. Okay. Aaron Rodgers. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe it was an entertaining episode. Maybe it was interesting. I don't know. But look, we're going to see him. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure he's going to play in the first game. He probably won't either.
No, I wouldn't expect him to.
but we'll still see him because they'll pan over to him on the
Oh
side.
yeah,
He'll get a lot of screen time. Okay, are we going to see last year's first round pick? Was it last year or year before? Zach Wilson.
oh yeah, you'll see him. He was out there today.
No, was he drafted last year?
No, it was a couple years ago.
Okay.
But they're out there having their joint practices with Carolina right now. I watched some of that live stream earlier today because the Jets live streamed it, not because Carolina wanted me to see. And Zach Wilson. Now they didn't stream that part of it. It was mostly O-line versus D-line. But from what I gathered, Zach Wilson still kind of looks like Zach Wilson. So. But hey, he's in a role now that he should be in. We've talked about this a lot. I think there's a ton of guys who can play quarterback in the NFL, but a lot of them go into situations where they're forced onto the field too early. They're not developed properly, things like that, and it kind of derails their career. Zach Wilson had no business being like, even if you want to say that he should have been the second quarterback or the second player overall taken. He wasn't. He didn't have any business being the starter, that early on. He just wasn't ready. Right. Yeah. But you have a struggling franchise and, you just took somebody second overall. They want to see him and, that's what you get. I would expect it, he's going to play quite a bit, I would think. And I would expect him to look pretty awful. But, we'll see. The main thing from this game, the main takeaway is going to be on the other end. And Jay, we went over this last week, man. You can't post the questions like during the show. I'm not. I can't do anything with that. But honestly, Bryce Young, who has looked good in camp, he looked good again today. He completed passes over the middle, which many thought were impossible for a man of his size. And then you want to see the O-line obviously be hold up and be able to protect him. That's going to be a major thing for Carolina.
All right. And thank you, Garnett. Yes, he said this is Zach Wilson's third year. Yeah, man, he's bad. I never thought he was going to be good. All right, I'm sorry. I mean, but you're right. Even if I don't believe in somebody, I mean, who cares? It's just my opinion, right?
Yeah.
But when somebody needs to develop, when a team spends that much time and resources into getting a guy that you're expecting to be your franchise quarterback, you got to be honest with yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is he ready? And you have all the offseason to scout him. You get him in mini camp. You get him in training camp. You got to be honest with yourself. And if he's not ready, that's fine, right? There's some things that you saw on tape when you drafted him. You made the investment in him that told you he's going to be a certain caliber of player. Let's take our time getting him there, right? Mm-hmm. Now, we're talking about Aaron Rodgers. Look at Aaron Rodgers' former team, the Green Bay Packers. They drafted Jordan Love 4 years ago?
4 years, yeah.
And he's getting his time, his chance to fully start, but they didn't care, right? Look, we like this guy, we'll get him now, and we're just going to develop him. It's the same thing that happened to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
right?
Except for 3 full seasons. Now, I don't think he needed to sit that long, but they signed for 3 full seasons. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't think sitting him hurt him. Right. So, don't rush Zach Wilson out there. And no, this isn't the end for Zach Wilson, right? Rodgers isn't going to play for much longer. So let him sit, develop him, and see what you have in him. I personally think you have a bust. But we'll see. He could prove us wrong. Now, Bryce Young, I think, is the real deal. Yes. I don't think he needs to sit. I think he's gonna go out there. He'll get a couple of snaps. You're not gonna see anything amazing from him. He'll do a couple of snaps and then sit. But I think you guys got your franchise quarterback for sure.
Yeah. He looks like he's. I mean, obviously he has to play in games and you got to wait for the start of the season and all that blah blah blah. Yeah. But he looks like he's the guy.
Yeah. Now, who do I want to see from your guys' team? Jonathan Mingo. I'm not sure how much he's going to play.
I'd like to see him catch the ball.
Yeah, that's fine. Listen, I don't care about dropsies in practice. All right, he's when the lights turn on, he's gonna show out.
Yeah,
but that's who I'm really anxious to see from the team. I want to see Jonathan Mingo out there playing well.
Well, and along those same lines, I want to see Terrace Marshall dominate the preseason.
Yes, Terrace Marshall as well.
If Jay wants me to believe that he's going to be that guy, he's going to be 1A or 1B, then he shouldn't have any problem showing out in the preseason.
Hey, look who it is. Purple Rain Podcast. What's going on? Salute to you. Our guys, Alex and why am I forgetting? Why am I freezing on your name?
Sutton.
Alex and Sutton. I'm sorry, Sutton. I had a brain freeze for a minute, man. Look, I'm still hungover from the party. Okay. Yes, it is almost time. Listen, go subscribe to the Purple Rain Podcast. All right. Yes. They did a show, I think, like the other day, like 2 days ago. I saw them go live. I was in there for a quick second. Great guys. Sutton's been on the show a couple times. He's also a USC fan, right? We gotta get Alex. We gotta get both of them on the show. In fact, we gotta get both of them on the show. But thanks for coming through. Make sure you subscribe. Okay, 2 of our good friends right there, and great Ravens podcast. Yeah, Garnett says Mingo's the real deal. Yeah, I have a feeling Jonathan Mingo's going to work out for the Panthers.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. But yeah, no, for me, it's really, you obviously want to see Bryce Young. You want to see the skill position guys do well, but I really want to see how the O-line is coming together. And I mean, it's going to be backups in there, a lot of backups, but you need good depth along the O-line as well. Brian Burns, I saw one rep of him doing in the one-on-ones against Mekhi Becton. I mean, I couldn't even tell you if Becton even got a finger on him. Like he hit him with a spin move and was around Becton before Becton even knew what was going on. So Brian looks like he's gonna be fine.
Yeah,
they just added Justin Houston, so I think that the pass rush is going to be there. Derek Brown had a breakout season last year, so that front is going to be it's going to be formidable for them, right?
Yes.
They just added Deion Jones to the linebacking core along with Shaq Thompson. They have a couple of younger guys there who are still trying to find their way, but this is very much a front seven heavy defense because the back end,
we'll see. Yeah.
So that JC's one we expect to be good.
You're in a similar situation as us. You want to see what the secondary can do, in particular the cornerbacks. Yeah. All right.
Now, they invested in Von Bell, who I think should be pretty solid. You got to see what Jeremy Chin really is, because in his rookie year he was making big play after big play after big play, game-changing type plays, and he hasn't really been that guy since then. So you want to see him kind of, take it back to what he was doing in his rookie year. CJ Henderson sucks on it, but they need to shake out the rest of that secondary.
Yeah. All right. So both games are on Saturday, and we will report back next week on our thoughts on the games. A couple of training camp notes. Do we have that? Do we have that ticker there? Training camp.
Yeah.
Okay. Training camp notes from around the league. A quick. We'll mention this quickly because it's nonsense. This is one of those clickbait type of things that look. So it worked because we're talking about it, but somebody on some podcast said that Justin Jefferson was just a product of the system, or product of
Kirk Cousins and kind of a system wide receiver.
Okay, so why didn't that work for Stephon Diggs?
Oh, well, they said that all his wide receivers put up those numbers, which is absolutely not true. But I'll buy that system every day. If they think it's a system, ship Justin Jefferson down to Carolina and get you another receiver and keep him moving, and we'll take our chances with Justin.
So when Kirk Cousins just threw the ball up in the air into double coverage, it was intercepted, but Justin Jefferson just snatched the ball with one hand to keep the chains moving. That was how it was drawn up.
That was Kirk, man. Kirk, Kirk dropped to his knees and willed it. He
Kirk,
called in a favor from the man upstairs.
listen, I'm about to say Kirk Cousins is the most fortunate, or he would say blessed, quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
He keeps falling into the best situations, right?
Yes.
One of the most average QBs always gets the best weapons, right? Just the best scenario, and really not challenged because they can't afford really to replace him.
They coddled him in Washington for all those years, right? And then, paid him. They franchised him and all that. He got paid, even though he didn't. I shouldn't say he didn't deserve it, but whatever. He got franchise tag. Then he ends up in Minnesota with the deal he absolutely did not deserve. But you had Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen. Didn't deserve that. Pissed Stephon Diggs off to the point where Stephon Diggs asked for a trade and got a replacement in Justin Jefferson, who's averaging 1,600 yards a year. Adam Thielen, you say he started to fall off, right? He's kind of hitting a decline a bit, so he moves out, and they replace him with Jordan Addison. And I'm just like, why for Kirk?
Let me tell you something. Kirk Cousins got one of the first fully guaranteed contracts in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 3 years, 80 million or something like that.
Yeah, it was like 87, 88 million, I believe.
Which was like the highest at the time.
Yeah.
And he's gotten 1 or 2 extensions since then. Or they another extension, and they had to redo the deal, I believe.
Yeah.
He's made a lot of money.
Yes.
He has 1 playoff win. 1 playoff win. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that's for his career, by the way. That's not in, since he's been in Minnesota. That's for his career. He has 1 playoff win. And that was that's what you get. But you don't really hear much criticism of Kirk Cousins. He was also the most hit quarterback last year as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not his fault. Not totally his fault anyway. They had to do a better job of protecting him for sure. But I mean, Joe Burrow had the worst offensive line in the league and went to the Super Bowl, so whatever, I guess. You got Justin Jefferson, man. Make it work.
All right, the next training camp news. We want to go to the abusive B. Eric Bieniemy. Okay, abusing the players apparently. The players are complaining that he's too hard on them. B, is Eric Bieniemy being too hard on the players?
No. And granted, I don't know what what exactly he's doing besides they say he's very intense. So yes, I imagine he's yelling at them a bit. Which I mean, I don't think that's a necessary thing as a coach. But win some games and maybe he'll chill out a bit. I don't know.
Listen, look. You can call us biased if you want, right? I'm protecting the black coaches in this league. Okay, there's like 5 of them. Now, okay, he's intense, and me and B don't really agree with grown men yelling at other grown men, right? That's always gonna cause problems. Mm-hmm. But wasn't one of the Patriots coaches yelling at that wide receiver a couple weeks ago, and they're talking about how they're whipping him into shape? Yeah. That LSU wide receiver, remember that clip that was going around?
That's the thing. It's okay. We're talking about Eric Bieniemy, and everybody's talking about how he's got these attitude problems and players don't like him and blah blah blah. He is the 2-time Super Bowl champion as the offensive coordinator of the Kansas City Chiefs, mm-hmm. right? And when other coaches are like that, and worse, they don't get criticism because they win. So why are we criticizing Eric Bieniemy? Yeah.
Keyshawn Boutte. Yes, that was the wide receiver that was getting yelled out by what's his face? The former Texas head coach.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. Yes, he was getting yelled out by him. Shout out to Rave Kingdom, for the donation. It says, please sign Clowney. Well, Clowney was given an offer, and we'll see if he signs it. But speaking of the Patriots, the other coach that coached over in Detroit,
Yeah.
He was another one. Yeah. He was another one that the players hated him,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they said all kinds of things about him. But I mean, some of that stuff came out later on, but not at the very beginning of his tenure there, right? This is training camp. Okay, he's intense. You need to be intense as well. I thought this was the NFL, right? Too intense. What's too intense? Run the routes. He wants you to perfect these plays. He's trying to tell you, look, this is what it takes to get that kind of offense going, right? Execution.
Well, Sean McVay was challenging Jared Goff's manhood routinely over in LA, right? And
Yeah.
you know, we're not talking about Sean McVay,
Right.
You know why? Because he wins games.
Yeah, Agent E, I agree. Eric Bieniemy wants the Commanders to be a competitive team. Absolutely. Like, don't Washington fans want that? You know,
Well,
it's time. You have the talent.
My problem with this is just why is Ron Rivera even talking about it publicly?
Ron Rivera
He
has some
shouldn't-
loose lips,
he shouldn't
man.
be. He really does. And listen, as a fan and somebody who's watching, I love it. But I'm never gonna forget my man. He got so serious, his eyes opened wider than they've ever been, and he said, "The problem is the quarterback," and he just held the stare. But look, you shouldn't be saying this stuff in the media. Why are you? You get the microphone away from Ronald Rivera.
Yeah. It's too much because that's going to be a talking point, especially with Eric Bieniemy, right? There's already some stories floating out there about how he wasn't liked in Kansas City. He had problems with Pat Mahomes, things of that nature, and there's a reason why he wasn't getting a head coaching offer, which I think is all BS, right? You don't have to be the most liked coach out there to get jobs, right? But stuff like this is going to feed into that narrative of, see, he's not a player's coach. Players don't like him. All right, man, look, we'll see. I mean, the Commanders, the Washington team, whatever they're going to be called next year or whatever, they were competitive last year, right? I think they'll be competitive again this year. They still don't have a quarterback in my eyes, but they have a much better offensive coordinator. And they're going to be right there. And if he can make them good enough to get to the playoffs, that's going to look great for him. So, yeah, I'd be intense too. And those players, especially Scary Terry, right? Like, he should be intense too. Like, are you not tired of losing? Are you not tired of the stale offenses? Like, you should be just as intense as Eric Bieniemy. You should want this offense to get going.
Yeah. And unless he's being just really personally disrespectful,
which I don't
what
think.
are you even talking about right now? He said they have Terry McLaurin, they have Curtis Samuel, they have Jahan Dotson, they've got Antonio Gibson, they got Brian Robinson, they've got the man Sam Howell. They should be putting up a ton of points, and all of those guys should be thrilled that Eric Bieniemy is coming over from Kansas City, offense where they had a lot of fun. They scored a lot of points and they won a lot of games.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I think it's odd to see them talking about it, particularly publicly, before they even play a game.
You know why they feel like it's too intense? Because they're just not used to that. The Chiefs can look like they're having fun out there. They can look like them. It's easy out there because they did train that intensely, right? Over and over and over to make sure they're executing everything perfectly. And when you put in that kind of work in practice, in training camp, in the games, yeah, you'll make it look easy because you know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you need to do. You've done it over and over and over, and you know like the back of your hand. It does look easy. You don't look like how we looked, for the last few years under G-Row, where every time we try to run a simple play call, our wide receivers are running into each other, right? We got wide receivers that are false starting because they don't know, and we ran this play twice in practice. I don't know what we're doing, right?
Yeah,
that's not how they do it. So this is just something different for them. Okay, It's not too intense. It's just different. You'll be fine. All right. Do we have another?
They'll be more than fine. They'll be better.
Yes.
But I think that's it for the training camp. I think it's time to head on to submitted questions for this week. Once again, please submit the questions prior to the show. Not directed at anyone in particular, but just putting that out there.
Also, this is another way for you to get loyalty points. Submit your questions. If we pick your question, then you get, how many points do you get for that?
200 for the question being read on air.
There you go. All right.
So with our first submitted question. Oh, look, Jay did make it, but this is the one he sent last week because, again, before the show, please. Why is EDC waiting so long to fix the left guard spot if Ben Cleveland obviously does not want nor deserve the spot? What you mean, Jay? They got Cleveland, they got Salah, they got Falele, they got Pat Ricard. That spot's fixed.
All right. Before I answer this, to answer just Ala's question, this is a good question. He says, where do you submit your questions? Just Alo, you can submit your question anywhere. You can DM us, you can email us, you can go on our community tab. That's usually where most people go when we post it on the community tab, and just post your question right there. However you want to get the question to us,
in the Discord, however you want to do that.
Listen, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, at LBHT Show. It's all the same, at LBHT Show. Any one of those places, you can hit us up and submit your question. If you want to email us, it is LBHTShow@gmail.com. All right. That's another way you can submit your question. Any way you can do it. All right. Even the audio listeners, we don't have loyalty points yet for the audio listeners, but if you want to submit a question, feel free. All right. Okay. Now, to answer the submitted question, why is it taking so long for EDC to replace? But
I'm sorry. Before you get into it, Jay says, me mentioning Pat Ricard is so disrespectful. I'm not just throwing it out there. They worked him out at O-line. Am I supposed to not say it?
Yeah, no, like that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, why are they doing that? Why are they taking so long to replace Ben Cleveland? They don't know what they're doing there, right? They've drafted listen. They've drafted a lot of players, a lot of O linemen. They've drafted a lot of players in the secondary, right? And guys just aren't being developed, right? So they're taking long because they're thinking, all right, this is going to be the year where this guy breaks out. Just like Bradley Bozeman, it took him his last year before he really worked out. Just like Ben Powers. Ben Powers looked bad until last year. And then last year, he's like, oh, okay, he looks solid enough. And he made some money elsewhere. And we're like, well, how do we replace Ben Powers? Ben Powers wasn't the mainstay at left guard. He just finally developed. And I think they're hoping this is what's going to happen with Ben Cleveland, right? But that's the problem, is that they don't get guys that develop fast enough. They get guys that are projects, and they keep hoping, hey, they'll turn it up this year, and they finally turn it up in a year where they need to get paid, and that's great, but then we don't want to pay them, right? Because we don't really believe in them. Start getting guys that you believe in. So to answer your question, man, like I said, it's just bad GMing.
Or start getting a new O-line coach.
Yeah. Next question. Oh, did you want to answer?
No, I answered them already. Okay. Next question from Jeremy. Thoughts on the Pac-12 dying? Is this good for college sports, only having 4 big conferences in the SEC, Big 12, Big 10, and ACC? I wouldn't even put the ACC on that list, if we're being honest. So my thoughts on the Pac-12 dying is it's definitely not good for college sports. I think it's kind of ridiculous that you have Rutgers and Oregon in the same conference, and they may have to fly cross country to play each other in conference games. You're losing, and this is the real reason I think it's very bad for college sports, is the reason that people always give for college being better than the pros, whether you're talking about football or basketball, is you have all the tradition. And you have the pageantry, and you have all these rivalries, and the players they're playing they're playing for the love of the game, and they're playing hard and not for the money. So you destroy the conference for the money. The conference of champions, mind you, because the Pac-12 wins more championships than anybody, just not in football and basketball. You're destroying the rivalry games. You're destroying the traditional bowl games, because the Rose Bowl has always been Pac-12, Big Ten, right? The winners of those conferences. And now the teams who were in the Pac-10 are no longer in the Pac-10. They're in the Big 10, the Big 12, wherever. You're destroying the rivalries. Oregon State, that's not happening anymore. Oregon State didn't get an invite to come along, right? Who knows where some of these other rivals are going to end up. And what they're essentially creating now is going to be just a worse version of the NFL, right?
Yeah. Listen, get rid of college sports. It's always been a sham.
Yeah.
Right. And even though we enjoyed watching, the older college football, right, as we got older and understood how much they're ripping off the players, I became disenchanted by it, right? And I know a lot of us grew up watching college football and college basketball, and great stories, great rivalries, great games, great memories. But the reality is a multi-billion-dollar industry that doesn't pay its workers, and I can't stand for that as a fully grown adult watching majority Black athletes being exploited and not being compensated for it, and not even getting a true education, which is what they try to say that they're paying them, which I think is a total BS, a bunch of nonsense, right? These are workers sacrificing their bodies for you to make your school tens and hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're not giving them a dime in return. That's a complete joke. And they're continue to make it a mockery, because when the players finally get a little something saying, okay, they can get paid not by the school, right, but you can start making money outside of the school, which is another joke. Why are you controlling how people make money outside of your organization, right? Yeah. But now they're allowed to do that, but they still don't get paid from the school. And you have coaches out there crying, oh, well, this player is making more than my brother-in-law, who doesn't have a quarter of the talent as this player. Why is that fair? Like, I mean, what are we talking about, right? And now colleges are not even trying to pretend that it's about anything other than money, right? So damn the tradition, damn all this other stuff that people want to cling on to. The reason why you love college football more than the NFL is because the players care more, right? Like it's just more intense. That college atmosphere. Yeah, let's see how you feel about that in the upcoming years, right? Let's see how you feel then. And the players didn't do that. The players making money didn't do that. That was the colleges doing that all on their own. That was these conferences doing it all on their own. Right. So let's get rid of this whole sham of this is amateur football and, you're developing players and you're giving them an education. It was never about that. Just make it like a G League type of thing. Right. Yeah. A development league. That's what it always should have been. And get rid of this whole sham. OK, yeah. Using colleges as fronts to fund your multi-billion-dollar cartel. Okay.
And as you go on that saying that people only care about the SEC. No, SEC fans only care about the SEC. Yeah. Fans of college sports care about other conferences. And I don't understand the whole SEC fan thing where they don't remember that they were trash not too long ago. You know what I mean? Yeah, they've won 6 out of the last 10 championships. That's great, including the last 4 in a row. And there was a time before that when SEC was garbage.
So I'll say this.
Yeah.
I'll say this. This is what I'm thinking. I think these conferences that are kind of getting left in the wind, your Pac-12s, your WAC conferences, and all those, the ones that are used to making money, right? They're not gonna take this lane down, right? They're not going to sit there and be fodder for the Power 5 conferences, right? What's going to happen is they're going to say, let's just start our own league and not be a part of that, right?
Yeah, I mean, the teams are gone though. You know, like the teams who are left in the Pac-12 right now. It'll be a
Which is
lot
why
better.
they had to band together because
But that's what I think. There aren't teams to band together. Like all the big schools are moving. They're all, you know, and from all the conferences, they're all moving. Like you know, Oklahoma, Texas are moving also. Like there's just not. It's going to be they're moving towards the one like a one conference future. You know, where it's just one league and it's not all these different traditional conferences where they have their own rivalries and everything. It's just going to be all of the big schools that generate a ton of revenue, and everybody else, no one cares. They're just getting left out in the cold.
Yeah, we'll see then how much people care about SEC football, because if you consolidate the talent and all you have to play is each other, because if these other schools are left out, what's the point of them having a football team if they can't really generate any revenue? They're not going to have a football team. So, no more putting Rice on your schedule.
Yeah.
Right. That's going to be a real team that you have to play week 1. All right. And let's see when those perfect SEC schools start playing talented schools from the beginning, and you take a loss or two and you look like every other team in the conference. How great do you look? Right.
Yeah.
So we'll find that out.
Yeah. And I'm saying all the money's going to be coming from the SEC. The college football landscape is consolidating. What I'm saying is it's not accurate to say people only care about the SEC. That's not true. That's nonsense. That's just an SEC fan talking. And like DDSQ is saying, I'm assuming that's a typo, that the SEC has always been top heavy, which is 100% true. You'll have, 2, maybe 3 teams at the top, and then the rest of the conference will be trash.
There you go.
But,
all right.
This is a part of why I don't really I lost interest in college football, in college sports, really. I mean, the college basketball is a whole different thing with the one and dones, and being able to go straight to the G League or the overtime elite league or just playing overseas and things like that. But college football, it's worse every single year. Like you're saying, how they try to sell a lie of, hey, these guys are amateurs and it's about something other than just money. And then you're doing things like this.
Yeah, I just think I don't know, even for college football, I think while they're trying to shift things around and consolidate whatever, it's not really going to it's not really going to go anywhere unless you start actually paying the players. And I think they're moving towards that. I think in a few years they'll completely take this whole shroud of amateurism off of college sports and say, all right, we're just going to pay these guys to play here. We can, they can play at the college or whatever, whatever. But we're going to have to pay them because these players are getting smarter and smarter, even in football. And what you're having is players, some of your top players in the biggest moments saying, yeah, I need to get ready for the draft, so I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Even in the playoff game. Yeah, I mean, I wish my team well, but it's time to start my pro career, right? I got to make an investment here in myself. So the only way you're going to avoid that, and that's going to continue to grow. You're not going to get less players do that. You're going to get more players doing that.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to mitigate that is by paying the players, actually cutting them a check, and I think they will. On the basketball side, they better start doing that. They are already falling way behind because these players are just going to other leagues.
Yeah.
Right.
Now basketball, I feel like is pretty close to done.
Yeah, I think so. And good riddance.
Yeah.
And that's coming from a former college basketball fan. If you don't want to pay your players, you shouldn't be in business. You can't pay your workers, you don't belong in business. Plain and simple. Mm-hmm. Salute to Rave Kingdom for a donation. Says, tell coach only 200 points, all that I have done. 200 points.
Coach be in the chat, you can tell.
Wait, 200 points for you, Rave Kingdom? That's on so Rave Kingdom, understand the points don't travel. Okay. So if you're commenting on coach's stream, that's points for coach's channel. The points over here are for our channel. Okay, those are separate prizes that are given away. So, my man, you're gonna have to grind a little bit more. Okay, you got 200 points. You need 800 points to qualify for a giveaway. Speaking of giveaways,
and I'll say this as well: if you are donating, we do appreciate you donating, Ray. Make sure you're using the same name that you're using in the chat, because like right now I'm looking and I don't see that name in the loyalty points. So it's kind of difficult to keep track of and give you those points if you're using different names when donating than you have in the chat itself.
Yeah, just let us know and we can update that. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Okay. That was the last question?
That was the last question, because we do have to do the giveaway for last month.
All right.
And the way we're going to do that is we're going to spin the wheel. Okay. And let me get the wheel up right now. And I'm going to do this live here. It's just on the phone. I don't know if you'll be able to see it.
We'll have to get a graphic.
Yeah. Hitting the spin.
Okay. Yeah, we see it.
And the winner is...
It's not sugar. It's Chocolate Lady Cap.
So close, Sugar. So close.
Chocolate Lady Cap. You win. What does she win?
That's going to be a $25 Amazon gift card.
Nice.
Chocolate Lady Cap. So if you are watching right now, you can DM us and just get us your email address and we'll send that over. Or if you see it on the replay, whenever you see it, go ahead and send us your email address, whether it's on Twitter, in the Discord or what have you, and we'll get that sent over to you.
All right. And listen, we're doing drawings every month. All you have to do is get 1,000 points to qualify. How you get 1,000 points? All kinds of ways. You can donate. If you don't want to donate, that's fine. Be active in the chat, right? Just watching. The longer you watch, the more points you get. The more active you are in the chat, the more points you get. Signing up for our newsletter, which you can go find on LBHTShow.com. That'll get you 1,000 points right there. Okay.
And Agent E, to answer your question, your name was not on there because you didn't have 1,000 points last month. It's an every month thing.
Yes. You don't automatically get thrown on there. You have to qualify. You have to get 1,000 points. All right. That's why I'm telling you ways to get 1,000 points right now. Okay. Everybody that bought tickets to the meet and greet, that's 6,000 points. All right. The next meet and greet is going to be next year. So you got time. You got a little while to wait for that. But donating, sign up for Patreon, those are ways you can get rack up some points quickly. But again, if you're just looking for 1,000 points right now and you haven't signed up for the newsletter, that's an easy 1,000 points. All right. Okay. Where we at?
Up next, we have Combat Corner.
Corner.
Very special edition of Combat Corner.
People like Buck. Shout out to Buck. Shout out to our guy E. They complain that we don't discuss baseball enough on here.
True.
But we have to correct them and say we do discuss baseball when there's something worth discussing. Facts. And why are we discussing baseball in Combat Corner?
Well, we're discussing baseball in Combat Corner because Tim Anderson does not have the hands he thinks he has. Tim Anderson for the Chicago White Sox, if you haven't seen, which I'm sure you have at this point, but if you haven't seen it, he was covering second base, and Jose Ramirez came sliding in head first. And it looked like he kind of ran into Anderson a little bit. Anderson took exception, got up, and they had some words. And Anderson, essentially he put up the dukes, right? He said,
"Yeah, nice stance too." I was like, "Oh, he about to go off."
Yeah, he said, "Sir, I wish to engage you in fisticuffs." And Mr. Ramirez obliged, as grown men will do, and Tim Anderson threw a nice combination. He threw a combination. I won't say it was nice. He threw a combination, 3-4 punches, and Jose Ramirez's head movement made it. It was impeccable. Tim Anderson did not land a single punch, but what happened late in the fight because again we didn't upload the video, we didn't want to get the whole show taken down. But
like last week,
Tim Anderson threw a hook, and Mr. Ramirez ducked under it, and then he came back with this.
That was the finishing move.
A picture perfect overhand right, looping overhand right. Now
keep it up.
You see the contact.
Yeah.
See it. The next time we see Tim Anderson, he was what?
But Tim Anderson did get a shot in the ribs right there.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a good strategy, but your stance is you're too close in.
But the next time we saw Tim Anderson, he was laying flat on his back. He was wondering where he was, why he was there, and who were all these people, who apparently work for the city of Chicago. Why were they crowding around him? He was knocked unconscious there, and it's been viral for the past week or so. There's a lot of down goes Anderson memorabilia merchandise out there.
Speaking of, let me get a shout out to Buck here for a donation. He says, down goes Anderson, down goes Anderson. Okay, all right. Salute to you, Buck. Thank you.
Awful. But the thing about it is that that'll happen. That'll happen to the best of us, right? I mean, we just showed a clip of a guy getting knocked out in 10 seconds, a professional fighter. That'll happen to people.
Yeah.
But this is apparently not a one-time thing for Tim Anderson, because, and I have to imagine that this was this guy's face when that fight was going down as well. Well, actually, I don't even know, I'm sure if that's the right picture now, because he's on a different team. But one of his teammates, Yasmani Grandal, I think I put up the wrong picture there. But prior to the All-Star break, he had asked to leave a day early. I said to get a little head start on his vacation because he wasn't in the lineup. And Tim Anderson took exception. And he said, if that expletive deleted doesn't want to be here, then I'll buy him his ticket. To get that about, I'll buy him his ticket. And Yasmani walked up to him and slapped him in his face. And I think that Tim just be taking L's left and right, and maybe he needs to go away for a minute and think about his life and the way he conducts himself.
All right, listen, we gotta put this situation has to go on trial here, because look, the MLB doesn't have that many black players, okay, and we need to break this down to discuss whether a hate crime just happened or not, okay. Jose Ramirez, look, he's got dreads. All right, he's the same complexion as me. Okay, I also have a Hispanic name, but I'm also black. All right, so look, Tim, Jose's not guilty. You're Ramirez, you can go. Tim, you're guilty on this. Listen, never bet against Jose. Okay, never bet against Jose. That was your mistake. Jose, all Jose's got hands. Okay.
It didn't even look like it landed that hard. Like he just tapped him on the chin, and apparently Tim Anderson's off button is right about there, and my man just went straight to the ground.
So you're bad there. Now this other guy, bring his picture up. We gotta discuss this.
I'm not sure if that's the right guy.
That's not him.
I'm not 100% sure that's the right guy.
Buck watches baseball. Is that the guy? What's his name?
Yasmani Grandal,
and he's Cuban, right?
Yes,
he's Cuban. All right, this guy here, I don't know, man. That might be a hate crime. You can't just be slapping people. He says it's the same player.
Okay.
No,
okay. I'm glad, because I Googled it right to get his picture, but I saw the expression on his face, and I was just like, I'm downloading that one.
So now, okay, Yasmani, you're guilty, man. Don't be touching my brother like that. All right. Now, Tim, you're not off the hook here, because as you guys know, I've said this a few times on this show. Open hand slap, that is a challenge to a death match. Okay, yes. You cannot let another man open hand slap you.
Like Charlie Murphy said, even when that was fashionable, somebody had to go after that. He said they would have a gunfight after that. Somebody had to go.
That's right. Yeah, there'd be a duel. Rest in peace, Charlie Murphy.
Yeah.
I have to know, Tim Anderson, did you let that slide or were the hands thrown afterwards? Because if you took the slap, okay, that's hard to come back from. Yes, we would still be fighting. Okay, like I don't care if you were in the wrong with what you said. Like you can't get slapped over what you said.
Yeah.
Right? If you put your hands on him and he slapped you, whatever, and he gets broken up, a la Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo had a situation with Caleb Plant, right? We only saw what Caleb Plant did, and Charlo didn't really react to it. But Caleb Plant came out and said, "Look, man, like he was grabbing me by my beard all aggressively. I told him not to touch me, and he kept putting his hands on me, and I slapped him. What do you want me to do? My wife was there and everything. Okay." Yeah. Fine. Charlo, I mean, you had it coming. Like I don't know if he had too much to drink or what, but you acted out. Once he got slapped, he probably realized I probably went a little too far, right? That's one of those things. All right, fine. You got to eat that. That's on you. But if you and I are arguing, we going back and forth, you come up and slap me, yeah, you're not walking away. You are not walking away, right? I don't care who wins this fight, but this is going to end up on the ground.
Yeah.
All right. So Tim, man, I don't know. And Danny is saying, good. Couldn't happen to a worse person. I don't know. I don't know about this Tim Anderson guy. It sounds like he had it coming. She says karma. Okay. I don't know what did Tim Anderson do to deserve all this smoke from everybody. Okay. But like I said, he's like one of 5 black players. He's one of 5 black players in the league. So we're gonna have to work this out, Tim Anderson. All right. Come talk to us, step into our office and we'll get you right. Okay. But in the meantime, keep your mouth shut.
My guy Shook says Tim did end up on the ground.
Oh, okay. Oh, he did end up on the ground. That's right. Yes, he did. He did. And that one.
Yes. Yeah.
But listen, like B said, sometimes you lose fights. That's more acceptable than getting slapped and letting the other person walk away. That's way more acceptable. All right. You threw hands, you landed a couple shots, he landed some, you went to the ground. You lost the fight. Yeah. It is what it is, right? That happens. Yeah, we're gonna make fun because that's just what we do. But that happens. But another man goes up to you and open hand slaps you and walks away. Unacceptable.
But Tim Anderson also proved that you don't always land some shots. Yeah. when he decided he was gonna, and maybe he was taking out some misplaced aggression from getting slapped in the face on Jose Ramirez, didn't land a shot and went to sleep. So
Clock, what's going on, man? Thanks for coming through. That's our comeback corner, ladies and gentlemen. Well, no, we can talk about real quick. Why does Eddie Hearn's fighters keep testing positive for steroids? Okay, you don't know who Eddie Hearn is.
And why did Spider-Man show up to that press conference, man? That was
for you non-boxing fans. Eddie Hearn, he's a promoter for Matchroom Boxing, and he promoted fighters like Anthony Joshua. He still promotes Anthony Joshua, I believe. Yeah. And everybody else that has tested positive for steroids in the last 10 years has is a Eddie Hearn fighter. So Anthony Joshua, speaking of, was supposed to fight Dillian White.
Yes,
I think it was a rematch. I think it's the second time fighting, and Dillian White tested positive, and he's out. Okay, so it has to be another replacement fighter. Who was it? Helenius. Right,
yeah, Robert Helenius.
If you don't know who Robert Helenius is, good, okay, because this doesn't deserve this. This doesn't.
He's a decent fighter.
I haven't seen it. If you've seen Robert Helenius get knocked out in spectacular fashion by Deontay Wilder.
My apologies. He was a decent prospect. He hasn't turned into he's a middling heavyweight, and like you said, he was knocked out by Deontay Wilder. Deontay made short work of him.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it. We'll wrap this up quickly because I'm looking at the time here. But let's talk about a fighter that you all do know, Ryan Garcia. Okay, because even the casuals out there know who Ryan Garcia is. Got beat up by Tank Davis. That's okay. He took the fight, dared to be great. And, he got put out early. That's fine. he's been beefing hard with his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, right? I believe he's trying hard to get out of that contract, and he's been hanging out with Floyd Mayweather, who, if you don't know, if you haven't been keeping up with this, Floyd Mayweather and Oscar De La Hoya are mortal enemies.
I mean, in one direction at least.
Yes. Oscar De La Hoya absolutely hates Floyd Mayweather.
I get the impression that Floyd is probably fine with Oscar.
Oh, I think he doesn't.
And just you know, he takes shots back because Oscar's taking shots at him. But like, if Oscar would stop, they could probably be friends.
I think he does it because he thinks it's funny, right?
Yeah.
I think
it's like John Jones and Daniel Cormier, right? Like Daniel Cormier hates John Jones, and John Jones thinks that Daniel Cormier is pretty funny when he's angry.
Yes, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's what it is. I think Mayweather doesn't feel any way towards De La Hoya, but seeing De La Hoya get upset for everything over Mayweather is just, it's funny to him. When Tank Davis knocked out his guy Ryan Garcia, he's in the ring celebrating with Tank, and he's waving at Oscar, saying hi, Oscar. And Oscar gets so mad he doesn't sit with his fighter after the fight, right, at the press conference. He leaves, right? So he loves pushing his buttons. Today, he was asked about him hanging out with Ryan Garcia recently, because there are pictures of them hanging out at I think it was at the Crawford and Spence fight, and they're asking him. I guess somebody asked him about signing Ryan Garcia to his promotion, and he said, "Look, he's under contract. I can't really talk about that. I'm just saying hypothetically." If he were available, yes, he would be signed to Mayweather Promotions.
And I want to real quick just shout out Matt D. Say thank you so much for signing up to Patreon. Really appreciate it.
Salute to you, Matt. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. You're supposed to get a little notification here. I might have to check out my Stream Elements. But yes, thank you for signing up. If you want to be awesome like Matt. Okay, let me show you how to do that, because we didn't put this graphic up. Patreon.com, give you a bigger one, /LBHT Show. Okay, we have a few tiers. Okay, $5 tier, $10 tier, $20 tier, even a $60 tier for you content creators out there that need a little help getting your channel off the ground. Okay, but all these tiers will get you access to our overtime show. And what are we talking about in the overtime show? This person right here, you don't know who he is. He is a minority owner of the Houston Texans. He seems a bit troubled right there, and he is in a lot of trouble. And there's a reason why you haven't heard the story, because the NFL protects their own.
Yeah, and that story came to us through D Weezy via the Bostonian versus the Book podcast. So thank you very much. I appreciate you, D Weezy. And he got some loyalty points for that. Like I said, if you submit topics for the show, that'll get you into the mix as well. So Derek will be in the drawing end of month for that Amazon gift card now.
There you go. Yes, Texans are a mess. We'll be talking about that, and we'll be talking about the brawl in Alabama. Yes.
Thank you, Matt.
Salute to you, Matt. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay. We're going to do a quick basketball story. Basketball time. So, Nick Kerr lands a job. Okay, Nick Kerr has worked his way up. He's been with the Golden State organization. Not Steve Kerr. Okay, not Steve Kerr. Nick Kerr. Yeah, if the name sounds familiar, because he's the son of Steve Kerr, but he has worked his way up through the organization. Okay, started out analyst or whatever, ball boy, and some assistant coaching, and now he has worked his way up to head coach of the Golden State Warriors G League. All right, and look, I say all of this because yes, he has put in a lot of work. He's worked hard, and he's got the head coach.
To Nick.
Congratulations to Nick, right? And this just goes to show you that put in enough work, and if you want to be a head coach in the NBA, be the son of an NBA coach because none of what he did got him that job. There's only one thing that got him that job, and that is he is the son of Steve Kerr. Now, he might be a very good coach, right? Look, Steve Kerr is a great coach, and if he's passed down the knowledge to his son Nick, he might fare out pretty well. But he didn't earn the job. Okay, he was given this job. He didn't earn anything. If his name was, Nick Anderson, right, and he submitted his resume, he would not be selected.
Right. Yeah, because they weren't reviewing resumes.
Right.
Steve said, "Hey, my son needs a job," so he's in the organization. And then, once you're in, you can impress with your skills. You can move up. You get more opportunities. And again, like I said, it's not to say that he is not qualified for the job. Not to say he doesn't deserve the job, but it's like the old quote: "Talent is evenly distributed. Opportunity is not."
Yeah.
Now, there are other guys who may be, men or women who may be more qualified who just did not have an opportunity to get that job.
Yeah. And shout out to Jeremy. I'll read his comment. He says, his kid will be fine. It's the G League. I wouldn't worry too much unless he's good enough to be an NBA coach. Not worried about it, but that's still a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
There's a finite number of those jobs. And they're supposed to go to the best, people available, right? That's the idea. There's 30 NBA jobs. I'm not even sure how many G League teams there are at this point, but you shouldn't, if you're going to make him, assistant quality control coach, or if you're going to just create a position because he's your kid and you want to have him around, you want to teach him stuff, like whatever, that's fine. But these are real jobs that like I said, they're extremely limited, and just handing a job to someone, and again, not saying he doesn't deserve it or isn't qualified, but like you said, he got that opportunity because of who his father is, right? And it takes away the opportunity from someone else who didn't have that advantage.
Listen, we have a friend, Jansen, Coach J. Okay, great high school coach, just won Coach of the Year for Howard County, right? Won the county title. Okay, went far in the state championships. Putting a bunch of players in college. He's got one that already committed to Penn State. Some of these players are going to end up in the NBA. He's an excellent coach. He's more qualified than Nick Kerr. He's a better coach than Nick Kerr. He deserves a position like that, right? But he doesn't. He's not. His father isn't anybody tied to the NBA, so he's not going to get that opportunity, right? And that's the problem we have with all sports. Do it, right? It's all nepotism. It's 100% nepotism. It's not merit based whatsoever. Yeah. And listen, this isn't to crap on Nick Kerr, right? And yes, because it's G League, it's not going to get that much of it's not that newsworthy to most people, but it's just another way to point out that another coach is getting an opportunity, and he's not going to stay in the G League. That's the other thing. You can say, oh, it's just a G League. That's this is a way for them to say he worked his way up. He wasn't just handed a job; it was given to him. He's going to take that job until Steve Kerr. Well, in fact, he'll coach under Steve Kerr, right? They'll bring him up at some point. He'll be one of the assistant coaches, and when Steve Kerr retires, he'll be in line to be the head coach.
Well, and it's not about his ability, right? Because another example, Kyle Shanahan. Everybody thinks Kyle Shanahan's a great coach.
Yeah.
He's been the head coach in San Francisco for a while now. He's been pretty successful. Kyle Shanahan got to be an offensive coordinator in the NFL when he was 29 years old.
Right.
Like, you don't get that if your last name isn't Shanahan.
Right.
It doesn't matter how great you are at the job. He at that point he had 4 years of actual coaching experience, all at the NFL level. He was a graduate assistant for 1 year at UCLA, and then he was working for the Buccaneers for a couple of years, the Texans for a couple of years, and then he got the Texans offensive coordinator job.
Yeah.
That's not on merit. That's
No.
because he's Mike Shanahan's son.
And you can look at all over the league. You can look all over the league. It's like that for all these positions. You have to know somebody or be related to somebody. Like, you can't submit resumes for these positions. They'll take it and they'll say, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. Okay. That's it.
Just our NBA champion Frank Vogel, but whatever.
Why can't Sam Cassell get a job, but Frank Vogel gets a job? Did Sam Cassell never got a job? I thought he was a assistant coach at least.
Yeah, I mean, he's been coaching in the league, but I don't think he's had a head coaching opportunity.
Yeah, man, it's easier just being the son of a coach than it is being a former NBA player. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
All right. That's it, guys. Trivia time. Okay. Another chance to get points.
Yeah.
And we'll get out of here. Don't leave yet. Listen, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. If you're trying to get some points, it's another opportunity to get points. How many points did he get for getting trivia right?
So it's 3 people get points. The first to answer correctly gets 1,000, then 750 and 500.
You want your 1,000 points.
This one may be a little bit difficult. We might have to let them post the answer in comments or something like that afterwards. But I just thought it was interesting because it's taking place in the NFC South. There's a guy out there that a lot of people are hanging their hat on, and he's the reason that a lot of people are picking the New Orleans Saints to possibly win this division that's obviously going to the Panthers, and that man is Derek Carr.
Okay.
Now, Derek Carr is one of 10 quarterbacks in NFL history to lose to 30 teams in the NFL. Okay. This year, he has the opportunity to set the record and lose to 31. Now, my question to y'all is, who are the only 2 teams that Derek Carr has never lost to?
Okay. We gave you guys an opportunity. The first 3 that get the answer right get points. All right. I have no idea. Obviously, I'm going to say the Raiders are 1.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can just give people that. It's the Raiders. He's played for the Raiders every year of his career up until now.
Yeah.
So really, I guess we're saying who's the other team.
Okay, man. I have an idea. I have a thought. I don't know if I want to say it. Okay, I'll throw it out there. Listen, don't steal my answer because I don't know if it's right, but I'm going to say the other team is the Ravens because I can't remember us actually beating Derek Carr. Right? It may have happened. We may have beaten the Raiders. I'm not sure if he played in those games, but I don't remember actually beating Derek Carr in the game. There's a few answers out there. Are any of them right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. There you go. Do we have 3? Are we waiting for more?
Let me take a look. We have 1, 2. We do indeed have 3.
All right. What is the answer?
The answer is, as Hendo said, the Carolina Panthers and the Las Vegas Raiders.
Hey, look.
So he's got 2 shots to lose that 31st team. They don't play the Raiders this year, so he can't hit 32. But hopefully he's the New Orleans Saints quarterback for years to come, and he gets that opportunity. I mean, I don't even dislike Derek Carr. I just think it would be kind of cool to be like, hey, I lost to all 32 teams in the NFL. But congrats to Buck and also Jay, who got it correct as well.
All right.
They got that much faster than I thought they would.
So, like, if he loses to the Panthers, which I think he will this year,
yeah,
and then he loses he loses to the Raiders, does he keep that game ball? Just put like number 32 on it or something like that?
I would. he doesn't seem to he doesn't seem to get any joy from the little things. So I think he would be very upset about losing. I
wouldn't want it.
But maybe I'm wrong. Derek seems like a good guy. but
Yeah, he does. He does. All right, that's it. Do we want to give him a small bonus time? There's still
No.
46 people in here.
I feel like we
Wow.
don't.
He said no.
I
What-
mean, just my bad. You asked the question. I thought...
Tiny bonus time. Tiny bonus time because I want to talk about the meet and greet a little bit more. Listen, if you guys, 46 people in here, hit the like button. If you're new, subscribe. If you guys missed the meet and greet, sorry for you. Okay, sorry for you. We had a great time. You guys were here last Wednesday when you heard my voice, and I had no voice. Didn't feel good earlier in the week. Started to feel better, but I just couldn't talk. Right, every time I try to talk loud, I'm just coughing. Right, I'm like, okay, I'm going to drink a lot of tea, and I'll be ready. That week was hectic too because I didn't even get a lot of rest because we just had a lot to do. And B came over, and I got off of work. We were scrambling around trying to get some last minute things done. B's like, hey, cut my hair. I'm like, okay, but if I cut your hair, no beanie. That's the other thing. Ladies and gentlemen. If you have never seen B without the beanie, and you haven't, most of you haven't, because he always wears a beanie or a hat or something on the show. He was without his beanie at the meet and greet. So people have seen him without his beanie in person. You forgot your swag bag, Just Aloe. Oh my goodness.
That's bad.
Just Aloe. I don't even know if you have any more stuff to give away.
Right.
We'll try to put something together for you, Just Aloe, because you didn't even get the shot glass. We gotta get you a shot glass at least.
Yeah.
Let me holler at OTR Mike because I gave him a bunch of the shot glasses. We'll send you something. All right. But yes, I cut B's hair, and I said, all right. My voice was still really hoarse. I laid down for a minute, and I was like, man, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I have it in me, to go to this thing because I could barely talk. And picked myself up, and we went. We got there late. The event started at 7. We didn't get there till 7:30. But I'll tell you what, I had this freshly printed Microphone Man shirt, right? Had some had a pair of Jordans on. Right, my jeans. I was like, all right, man, I'm looking all right here, right? I'm ready to go. Drive over there. Call my girl April up because she was there helping set up. I was like, hey, I'm pulling up. She says, all right, just pull up to the front, so you can go right in because everybody's there waiting on you guys. Just pull up to the front. I'll drive the car off. Right. Pull up. There's a bunch of people outside Bus Boys and Poets because you can eat outside, and that whole district there's a bunch of people walking around. So we pull up. And man, we feel like somebody's important because there's no valet parking there. And we pull up, and somebody just drives our car off, and people are looking like, I ain't know there's valet parking. Who are they? Right? And we walk up, and as soon as we walk up, got my boy Jerome that's coming. He just walking up to the event. He sees me. He comes on the left side. My boy Huck on the right side. We dabbing each other up, and we walk in like stars. Okay, everybody's looking at us now. All right, get upstairs. We got somebody that's checking tickets at the door. Have no idea who the person is. She bought a ticket and started checking other people's tickets. That's how into it she was, and she was real cool. I forget the lady's name. Coach remembers her name. But when we got there, it was already packed.
Yeah,
it was already packed, man, and it was a lot more people than we expected. But it was a great turnout. Had a lot of fun. OTR Brandon was DJing it, and the music selection was great. The food was good. We got to see a bunch of you guys there. Just Aloe was there. Ferris, Justin P. Salute to Justin P. Dave the mailman, right? A lot of you guys. Chef was there. Sea Iron Addict. Salute to Sea Iron Addict. Sea Iron Addict actually he bought some extra tickets to give away. Okay. And we had a good time there. People wanted to stay afterwards and take pictures with us. We took pictures for a little bit, and we kept the party going afterwards. We had an after party at Nottingham's. That was a lot of fun. We saw a bar fight. Okay.
bar beat down.
A bar, yeah.
That's a question for you there, Jose.
What's that?
Jason, wait, what Jordans you had on?
I don't even know what kind they were. I bought them one day to play basketball because so Coach Jay opened up the gym at his high school one day and said, "Hey, call all of us old heads over to the gym to shoot around." And I didn't have any basketball shoes, so I went over to the mall and I was like, "Give me the cheapest pair that you have." And every pair that the kid was showing me, they didn't have in my size, right? We're a size 12, and I'm like, "What the hell?" So I just kept pointing to stuff. And literally, I was just like, "What about that?" Nah, we ain't got it in 12. What about that? Nah, we ain't got it in 12. And then there were a pair of Jordans. They were like it's like they're white Jordans, but it's like some like the tongue was black. And I was just like, I know this is gonna cost me an arm and a leg. How, are those in 12? Yep, we got them in 12. All right, give it to me. All right. And I only wore them once up until Friday because I took him to the gym. We shot around, and that's when my boy Butter. That's where he tore his ACL. And I was like, oh, we're done playing basketball for a while, so I haven't worn them since then. But they came in handy for the meet and greet. I'll get you the which kind of Jordans they are. I'll take a look at them.
All right, it's time to go because it is still hashtag no 2 hours up in here.
And shout out to Megan.
Thanks for coming through.
Yeah.
Just want you to know that you inspired Ferris, and he's on the rebound.
Yes. Yes.
So you'll be hearing from Ferris. I don't want to put a clock on it, but you'll be hearing from Ferris. Don't worry about that.
Dan says, was the after party announced or was it a secret? It wasn't a secret, and it wasn't planned. We literally, as we were cleaning up and everything, a bunch of people were still hanging out, and they said, "Hey, we still want to do something." So Mikey actually said, "Hey, let's meet over at Nottingham's." So we just went over there. So yeah, it was unplanned. Next year, though, you know what? We'll plan it after the party. All right. See, now Danny's feeling it. Danny was a little shy at first. He was like, I don't know. But she won a prize, got out of her shell a little bit, met some people.
All right, Jeremy, thanks for coming through, man. You have a good night.
All right, Jeremy. Yeah, we wrapping it up here too.
Always keep the game on. Yes, the game is on, Megan.
All right, with that, we are getting out of here. Like B said, hashtag no 2 hours. If you want to hang out some more, we can talk more about the event on the Overtime Show. Just go over to patreon.com/LBHT Show. If you have $5 in your pocket, you can be a part of the Overtime Show. Okay, hang out with us as we discuss some dirty NFL owners. Okay, Alabama beat down. Okay, and we'll discuss more of the event. Okay, it was a great time. It was a great weekend. But if not, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will see you next week. Patrons, get ready. The Overtime Show will start soon. B, are you ready?
Yeah,
he is ready. You guys have a great night, and we will see you next time. Peace.